Since we've been through all of this over the last 10 years, we've been able to, at least I have, been able to help other ladies who have gone through pretty much the same thing in one way or another. Todd and I had 3 kids, found out we were pregnant with our 4th, and which was a good thing. We were glad about that. We had always said we wanted to have 3 or 4 children.
We've been through this before. You know, Andrea acts all calm, you know, and I'm always jumping around and, you know, getting excited. But, you know, I'd been through it before.
I was in my 9th month with this child and been to the doctor. He was getting ready to talk to us about inducing labor if I didn't go into labor on my own.
She woke me up about 3 o'clock that morning.
Everything seemed to feel normal, feel right, everything was okay, and of course I waited before I woke Todd up and said, let's go to the hospital, it's time.
She never really shows a lot of emotion, so I don't think there's anything wrong. I go up and sit down, and in come the nurses, and they start checking and doing the ultrasound, and the first one comes in, and not a big deal, just checks and seems to leave.
The nurse that was in there with me was a young girl, new, couldn't find the heartbeat, which was not unusual. But she couldn't find it, went to get somebody else. That nurse couldn't find the baby's heartbeat, so finally she went back to the nurse who had greeted us, who had obviously had several years in the nursing field, to come in there, and she tried to find it herself. After
she's checked for a period, a long period, and doesn't find the heartbeat, she comes over to me and says, do you understand what's happened? Well, all of a sudden you're just kind of in a surreal position. Yes, this is what I said, and she leaves. And what she just told me is that our baby has died. That was pretty devastating.
That's the worst thing that we could have ever heard.
I remember praying at the end of the day myself and thanking God because there's a reason that this happened. You don't know why, but you remember verses like Romans 8:28 when it says, and we know that for those who love God, all things work together for good. For those who are called according to His purpose.
Sometimes you go through the things you do so you can have a testimony to share with others and be a witness and be a help, be encouraging. And that's the way God's used this situation.
3 years later, you know, we had another little one, and the placentas began to break as it did the first time, but God brought us Jet, little Jetty Betty, and God blessed us with one more little girl, so we have 2 and 2. Now all I have to do is worry about getting the 4 of them in heaven. Jalen was a whole lot easier when you think about it. But very unique how Jalen has touched lives, and it's allowed us to go on and share with other couples that have lost children, and really how it does impact marriages. Our marriage could have been destroyed, but it wasn't, because God was our foundation.